Tonight, snowed in at the Winnipeg airport.
You know what? You got to take it as it comes, and it is what it is.
Flights canceled and travelers left in the lurch as snowstorms batter Ontario. Also tonight, fertility free fall.
We're going to have some serious issues, even bigger issues than we already have.
How many fewer Canadian women are having children and what it means going forward. Plus, hurry up and wait. How many hours the average driver lost to Winnipeg traffic last year.
CTV News. Live from downtown Winnipeg with Marilee Caruso.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. A record-breaking winter storm in Ontario has been wreaking havoc on air travel, leaving several travelers stranded here in Winnipeg. CTV's Danton Unger was at the airport today and joins us now live. So, Danton, what have you been hearing from travelers?
Well, Marilee, I spoke with several who had been planning to fly out of here yesterday, but Mother Nature had other plans. Some were scrambling today to find a new flight, while others are planning to spend the night at the airport, hoping the weather will be more favorable for flying in the morning. It's been a long wait in the Winnipeg airport for traveler Bindu Anil.
Hopefully I can reach my home, and my son and my husband is waiting for me there.
She's trying to get home to Ottawa, but ended up staying here overnight after her flight was cancelled Sunday evening.
I didn't sleep. I was sitting and I was talking with my family because I am already frustration, so I cannot sleep it.
That's thanks to a record-breaking snowstorm that walloped southern Ontario and Quebec, forcing airlines to cancel hundreds of flights. At Pearson Airport, a record 46 centimeters of snow fell Sunday, grounding 146 departures. And as cleanup continued Monday, the airport warned there would be further delays. Here in Winnipeg, 5 flights to Toronto were cancelled Sunday, with another 4 as of Monday afternoon, leaving travelers like Louis Arruda stranded.
It is what it is. It's Mother Nature. It's wintertime, and you know she kind of runs the show a little bit.
He's been able to get another flight home to Toronto, but not until Tuesday, meaning he's settling in here at the airport for the night.
I'm just kind of walking around and doing whatever and grabbing coffee and everything else. I'm not going to get another hotel room for the night, so it's really no point. I tough it out.
In a statement to CTV News, the Winnipeg Airport's authority encourages affected travelers to check the status of their flights with their airlines. If your flight has been cancelled, please do not come to the airport, as rebooking and next steps are handled directly by your airline. So, for travelers like Bindu and Arruda, Mother Nature has left them waiting and hoping their flights won't be cancelled yet again.
It is what it is, right? That's life, and you got to deal with it the best way you can, right?
The Winnipeg Airport's authority says while it is well prepared for winter weather operations, weather conditions can still impact flight schedules and may result in delays or cancellations.
All right. Thanks for this, Danton. Well, our province came close to setting a new record for peak hydro usage last week. A spokesperson from the Crown Utility says the grid hit a peak of 5,095 megawatts at 8 a.m. Friday. The temperature at that time was minus 32.4 degrees. That's the second highest peak on record. The record was set almost exactly a year earlier on January 20th, 2025, when the peak load hit 5,111 megawatts. All right, let's bring Colleen Brady now. Get a look at your Skywatch forecast. Temperatures not quite that scary tonight, but that wind isn't giving us much relief.
No, it was a cold front that's been passing through, but I'll tell you what, I guess it depends on your perspective. Even though, like I said in our last hour, Marilee, we're not tiptoeing through the tulips just yet, it didn't feel quite as bad. Still, winter is certainly not letting up anytime soon. The cold warnings have, it's nice to tell you tonight, there are no cold warnings in effect anywhere in Manitoba. In northwestern Ontario, it's a different story, and also pretty close on the western side of the province over in Saskatchewan. More on that coming up. And when, yeah, it could get a little colder once again. But for now, let's take a look through that CTV Live Eye. It is brought to you by Bathfitter, exclusive home of the Permafit solution in Winnipeg right now. With a little bit of light snow falling and blowing around out there. It's minus 16 degrees, also blowing around the camera. Those northwest winds, strong and gusting, giving us a wind chill that makes it feel like minus 31. The pressure is rising and the humidity right now, Marilee, is 70%.
Thanks, Colleen. A correction now to a story we brought you Friday. The property assessments currently being mailed to thousands of residents in Winnipeg are just the proposed property values. Final assessments will be available online May 11th and mailed out in June. We apologize for the error. Winnipeg police have issued a silver alert tonight requesting your help finding a missing 91-year-old woman. Police say Anna Polgar was last seen around 5:30 Sunday morning on Portage Avenue near Route 90. Polgar is 5 feet tall with a medium build and gray hair. She was last seen wearing a white long sleeve shirt, a black jacket with black pants and dark gray shoes. Police say she uses a red four-wheeled walker. Silver alerts are activated when a vulnerable adult is reported missing. If you have any information on the whereabouts of Anna Polgar, you should contact the Missing Persons Unit. That number on your screen, 986-6250. The landfill search for the remains of Ashley Shingoose are showing some encouraging signs, according to the Premier.
We have got material out of the landfill that shows us we're in the right date range, and also shows us that we are in the right route for where these trucks were picking up landfill material from.
However, Wabkanu noted there is still no guarantee of success. Excavations got underway last month. Shingoose was one of 4 women killed by serial killer Jeremy Skibitsky. He's currently serving a life sentence with no chance of parole for 25 years. The remains of 2 other victims, Morgan Harris and Mercedes Myron, were found last year by searchers at Prairie Green Landfill. That search ended under budget and much sooner than expected. Some new data from Statistics Canada shows a sharp decline in fertility rates. Back in 2023, Canada joined, quote, ultra-low fertility countries like Japan, South Korea, and Switzerland. And this new data is offering insight into why. CTV's Harrison Shin joins us now to break down the numbers. So, Harrison, what does this data say?
Well, Marilee, the downward trend in fertility rates started in 2009 when it slid minus 1.6%. That accelerated to minus 6.9% in 2022, with 2023 at minus 5.2%. It's generally accepted women need to have 2.1 children on average to maintain a country's position. As of 2024, that number in Canada was 1.25. The survey finds that close to 1 in 4 Canadian women in their 40s do not have children, and that varied proportionally by age group. For the 30s, 43.2% of women do not have children, while 88.5% of all women in their 20s were childless. Lori Wilkinson, a sociology professor at University of Manitoba, says there are many reasons behind the trend, including the cost of living.
It's incredibly expensive to raise a child from 0 to 18. And increasingly, right, we're spending money on our children well into their 20s to help them get through any kind of training or even just getting into the labor market.
Wilkinson adds the StatsCan data makes it clear couples are more likely than single people to have children. This is true across all the age groups. Women who practice religion are also more likely to have children according to the data. And in general, there is a higher proportion of women without children among university graduates and those employed.
Harrison, what is this data used for?
So StatsCan says the survey results can be used to develop programs and policies to improve family well-being. Wilkinson says governments need to pay attention to fertility rates because when immigration programs are cut and birth rates are falling, there can be serious economic problems.
All right, thanks for this, Harrison. Winnipeg's mayor is voicing his support tonight for the integrity of the city's police force. It comes after a disgraced member was sentenced to 7 years in prison for corruption and drug charges. Scott Gillingham wants Winnipeggers to know he believes Elston Bostock was an outlier.
By and large, the vast majority, almost all of our police officers, I believe, are good men and women, people of integrity who do their jobs as professionals, and they serve the public with a real commitment to public service.
Gillingham credits Winnipeg Police Chief Gene Bowers and his executive for investigating allegations against Bostock and others. Last week, Bostock was found guilty for charges including breach of trust, drug trafficking, and offering an indignity to human remains. Gillingham says while confidence in the police service may be shaken, he's confident upper brass are committed to holding officers accountable for their actions.
When we see our police chief and his executive treating this very seriously and rooting out these problems and any corruption in the police service, I think that can actually build public confidence, because we know we have a police service who's very serious about making sure that their members are acting with integrity.
Gillingham's comments echoed a statement shared by Chief Bowers following Bostock's sentencing hearing Friday. A new study suggests doctors are spending a lot of time on paperwork. A joint report from the Canadian Federation of Independent Business and the Canadian Medical Association estimates Manitoba physicians spend about 9.7 hours a week on administrative tasks. It suggests eliminating all unnecessary paperwork and tasks could free up the equivalent of 326 doctors. Doctors Manitoba says it would give physicians more time to spend with existing patients or take on new ones.
This would not get rid of our physician shortage altogether, but it is an important part of improving access for patients, and furthermore, an important part of retaining the physicians that we've worked really hard to recruit.
Doctors Manitoba says improving system integration and using tools like AI for charting would also help ease the administrative burden. The Manitoba government previously announced it will introduce new legislation this spring to limit the use of sick notes in the province. We're learning today the province is targeting job growth through the construction of 4 new schools.
For everybody in the workforce as well, too. If you went out and got your red seal, let's make sure that there's work for you here in Manitoba.
Premier Canoe announced construction will soon begin under the Manitoba Jobs Agreement framework. 3 of the schools will be built here in Winnipeg, while the other will go up in Brandon. The goal is to have construction done in 2027. The province says the jobs agreement prioritizes hiring Manitoba workers for large infrastructure projects. It covers wages, benefits, and working conditions, aiming to create competitive jobs and help Manitobans with Red Seal certification.
When we do these next projects, now that we have this MJA framework in place, the Manitoba Jobs Agreement framework, schools, emergency rooms, future healthcare projects, all sorts of infrastructure. When hydro goes to market in the future, we'll be putting Manitobans to work.
The Premier also says a similar agreement will be utilized for the development of Victoria Hospital's emergency room. The new Winnipeg schools are being built in West St. Paul, Transcona, and Waverly West. Ever feel like it's taking longer and longer to get home from work? Well, you're not alone. A new report suggests Winnipeg is the 6th most traffic congested city in the country. That's according to the annual TomTom Traffic Index report, which was released today. It shows the average city commuter lost 94 hours to traffic congestion in 2025. That's 3 days and 22 hours spent in rush hour traffic. However, the report also notes those numbers haven't really changed much from a year earlier. That news did not surprise Mayor Scott Gillingham.
I would say it seems fairly appropriate and accurate. We're about the 6th largest city in Canada. We have had near record investment in road construction, which means that there's a lot of road construction throughout the spring, summer, and fall months. And we've seen significant growth, population growth, over the last several years. So I think all of those factors combined would land us, in about the 6th spot.
The report also found the average speed during the morning and evening rush hours was 23 and 18 kilometers per hour, respectively. The traffic index is built using anonymous GPS data and driving speeds collected from drivers in large metropolitan areas. A parking lot that sat empty for years in Osborne Village is up for sale once again. The city is taking offers for the lot at the corner of Stradbrook and Osborne. City Hall agreed to sell it back in 2021 for redevelopment, but plans stalled because of soil contamination. The sale listing notes remediation was completed in 2024. Offers are being accepted until March 6th. A stretch of Portage Avenue kept city workers busy in the frigid weather Saturday. In an email to CTV News, a city spokesperson said a water main broke on a stretch of Portage Avenue in St. James between Marjorie Street and Roseberry Street. It was reported around 8 a.m. and city crews were busy fixing the break with jackhammers and a bulldozer at the scene. The westbound curb lane at the stretch was blocked for those repairs. According to a city spokesperson, that break was fixed around 4 p.m. the same day. A provincial rivalry will hit the court later this week in an annual sports challenge.
And this rivalry is a great rivalry.
The universities of Manitoba and Winnipeg men's and women's volleyball and basketball teams will go head-to-head in the 34th Duckworth Challenge. It started in the 1991-92 season as a way to profile the friendly rivalry between the two universities. This year features more than 100 athletes from 4 Manitoba teams.
It's a pretty special opportunity to play against Manitoba and have sort of the amount of crowd support and fan support at both games. I'm playing against a bunch of guys I played with and against growing up.
Last season, Manitoba won the Duckworth Challenge trophy. It also holds the most titles at 20. Along with bragging rights, the winner will see the Winnipeg sign at the Forks lit up in their team colors. Games start Thursday night at the U of M and continue through Saturday. Still to come tonight, the Prime Minister unveils a boost to the GST credit.
On average, these payments make up for the higher level of food prices.
How much money you might stand to save as a result. Plus, more unrest south of the border after another fatal shooting in Minneapolis. Those stories just ahead. The Bank of Canada is expected to announce its decision on its interest rate this Wednesday, and analysts are expecting no changes. The bank held its rate steady at 2.25% in December after 2 consecutive quarter-point cuts. But the annual inflation rate was higher than expected at 2.4% in December, and the unemployment rate rose to 6.8%. Early data is also suggesting growth slowed in the fourth quarter of the year. Turning to the markets now, crude oil lost 44 cents. The loonie closed just under 73 cents U.S. Gold futures added $102. The TSX fell 51 points. The Dow Jones jumped 313 points, while the Nasdaq closed 100 points higher. Customers in some northern communities are set to see some relief on their upcoming propane bills. The Public Utilities Board has approved a decrease to Stitsco's propane rate for those in Thompson, Flin Flon, and Snow Lake. It's going down by about 20 cents per cubic meter to $1.51. The PUB says the average customer should see a 5.3% drop in their annual bill. The change takes effect February 1st. Members of Canada's Parliament returned to work today following a 6-week holiday break. And today, Ottawa tackled food insecurity with an announcement from the Prime Minister to counter the high cost of groceries. A GST rebate for some 12 million Canadians. CTV's Michael Couture breaks down the boost and who benefits.
So we're acting today.
Choosing to be in a produce store instead of Parliament, Prime Minister Mark Carney announced new measures to tackle the affordability crisis. The Liberal government is renaming the GST credit the Canada Groceries and Essentials Benefit and raising it by 25% for 5 years. With an additional one-time payment this year, the average family of 4 will get nearly $2,000 in 2026 and $1,400 each of the following years. The measure is expected to help 12 million low-income Canadians.
On average, these payments make up for the higher level of food prices since the pandemic.
Carney also laid out a new national food security strategy to strengthen domestic food production and improve access to nutritious food. The Conservatives say the GST measures aren't new, but they'll support them.
The Prime Minister has revived a Trudeau-era rebate, which will let pass, that will barely cover a few trips to the grocery store.
The focus on pocketbook issues is a clear response to the #1 concern of Canadians, according to this pollster.
That's going to be the battleground for the next federal election, and it's going to be the key way that Canadians judge both Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre.
With a campaign-style announcement today, it had some wondering if Canadians could be headed to the polls this spring.
Of course we're not. We're not. We're focused on results for Canadians.
The Conservatives say they'll back the GST boost as long as other spending isn't added on. The bill is expected to be tabled in the coming days. Michael Couture, CTV News, Ottawa.
Ottawa is deploying a Royal Canadian Navy patrol vessel to Greenland. The ship will be there when Canada opens a new consulate next week. Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says the vessel is a symbol of our country's growing collaboration with other Arctic allies. U.S. President Donald Trump recently de-escalated his demands for America to acquire the Danish territory. He had threatened to impose tariffs on European nations opposing the idea, but more recently ruled out the use of military force. Protests are continuing in and around Minneapolis after the fatal shooting of Alex Preddy by a Border Patrol agent over the weekend. This as President Trump and Governor Walz are talking, and the nation's border czar makes his way to Minnesota. ABC's Karen Travers has more from the White House.
Today, a major change in the Trump administration's operations in Minnesota in the wake of the fatal shooting of Alex Preddy. President Trump sending his border czar Tom Homan to oversee immigration enforcement in the state, saying Homan will, quote, report directly to me.
Mr. Homan is the point person for cooperating with state and local authorities and corresponding with them, again, to achieve this level of cooperation to subdue the chaos on the streets of Minneapolis.
The White House today distancing itself from comments Saturday by Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem and senior advisor Stephen Miller, who accused Preddy of domestic terrorism.
I have not heard the president characterize Mr. Preddy in that way.
But Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt also pointing the finger at Minnesota's Democratic leaders.
This tragedy occurred as a result of a deliberate and hostile resistance by Democrat leaders in Minnesota.
Earlier Monday, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz called President Trump to talk about how the two can work together to find a solution to the unrest over ICE operations. The president posting on social media that he and Walz seem to be on a, quote, similar wavelength. A spokesperson for Walz saying the president agreed to, quote, look into the number of federal agents in Minnesota. Walz called the conversation productive, but in a new Wall Street Journal op-ed writes, I have repeatedly appealed to President Trump to lower the temperature, but he refuses. State and local officials say weeks of protest have had a negative impact on police officers who are spread thin and exhausted.
Well, I'm hopeful that folks can get together, that cooler heads will prevail, and that we can figure this thing out. Because regardless, the current situation is not sustainable.
Democrats are now vowing to oppose a package that includes funding for the Department of Homeland Security and 5 other departments. If they do not vote for passage, it could mean a partial government shutdown at the end of the week. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
At least 25 deaths are being blamed on the massive winter storm that swept across much of the country over the weekend. Residents in the Northeast started to dig out as the region got more snow today on the tail end of the storm. It also unleashed sleet, ice, and frigid temperatures across much of the South and East. Tens of millions of Americans were affected, and at least 25 governors declared states of emergency. Hundreds of thousands of homes and businesses lost electricity, and thousands of flights were canceled. Road traffic in many areas was also halted. The storm is moving out of the East Coast, but the extreme cold is expected to last into early next month. Marineland has been granted conditional approval for the export of its remaining beluga whales to the U.S. The federal fisheries minister met with representatives of the former Niagara Falls theme park today. Joanne Thompson says she will issue final permits once Marineland provides more information. It presented what it called an urgent rescue solution to Ottawa last week to keep the 30 belugas alive. There have been earlier reports about a plan to ship the whales and 4 dolphins to 4 American aquariums, perhaps in Chicago, Atlanta, Connecticut, and SeaWorld, which has several locations. Marineland says it's grateful to the government for prioritizing the lives of these, quote, remarkable marine mammals. The remains of the last hostage in Gaza was returned to Israel today. It was a key condition in the plan to end the war. Ran Gvili was a police officer who was killed in the October 7th attacks. His coffin was met by his father and members of his police unit, forming an escort to his hometown. Israel said it would reopen the Rafah crossing between Egypt and Gaza after all of the hostages were returned. A ferry has sunk in the Philippines, killing at least 18 people. The steel-hulled ferry was carrying cargo and more than 350 people. Hundreds have been rescued, but there are still people missing. Officials say the vessel encountered technical problems and sank just after midnight. Government officials in Australia have ordered the cull of a pack of dingoes in response to the death of a Canadian woman on a coastal beach. A coroner's report suggests the 19-year-old BC woman drowned, but her body exhibited bite marks from before and after her death, citing aggressive behavior. Queensland officials say the wild dogs are an unacceptable public safety risk and they will be euthanized humanely.
As soon as I bought it that day, 5 minutes later, the stock tanked.
A warning if you're looking for ways to invest your money after an uptick in so-called pump and dump scams. We will explain how it works and what to watch out for when we return.
A lot of sunshine in our long-range forecast for Winnipeg, particularly Wednesday through Friday. Daytime highs -18, -19, and some overnight lows. They get quite cool, especially Thursday night. We drop all the way down to -27 degrees. Into the weekend, up to -11 we go on Saturday with the possibility of flurries. And then look at Sunday, mix of sun and cloud with a forecast high of -7.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Round robin play continues at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts, and so far, Manitoba's teams have not notched a single loss.
Once again, it's a nice hit and roll, and Manitoba is lying 6.
Caitlin Law's Winnipeg rink was in action during the morning draw, posting an 8-2 win over Nova Scotia, bringing its record to 4-0. It puts them at the top of Pool A alongside Gimli's Carrie Einarson. Einarson's rink, representing Team Canada, is also boasting a 4-0 record after beating Quebec 8-2 this morning. And Beth Peterson took a 9-2 victory over Northern Ontario in the afternoon draw. Her team is sitting at the top of Pool B, also with 4 wins and no losses. But the perfect records will have to come to an end this evening. That's because Einarson and Laws will face off against each other at 7 o'clock. A veteran presence on the Blue Bombers' offensive line is returning for another season. The Bombers have agreed to a 1-year contract extension with left tackle Stanley Bryant. The fan favorite lineman is heading into his 16th CFL season and 11th with the Blue and Gold. Bryant was named the Bombers' most outstanding offensive lineman in 2025 for the 7th time in franchise history and is a 3-time Grey Cup champion. The most decorated lineman in CFL history turns 40 in May and was scheduled to become a free agent in February. Toboggan racing is coming to Roblin Park. That's Councillor Evan Duncan for Westwood riding down the single-lane toboggan slide Saturday during the Winter Carnival at Roblin Park Community Centre. Mayor Scott Gillingham and Duncan jointly announced a $100,000 upgrade to the slide from 1 lane to 2. Duncan and Gillingham are splitting the bill, $50,000 from Duncan's ward allowance and the same amount from the mayor's office. No timeline was given, but Gillingham said the city is moving into detailed design work, hoping to have it built and open soon.
CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
CTV weather specialist Colleen Brady back now with your complete Skywatch forecast. What are you tracking for us tonight?
Well, temperatures that aren't quite so brutal, wind chill values that aren't quite so brutal, but we did set some minimum temperature records over the weekend in southern Manitoba, as you might expect. Perhaps not as many as you might expect. Now, minimum temperature is what you would think of as the overnight low. That will come through very early in the morning. So this was early Saturday morning. Look at those temperatures. Those are the air temperatures dropping into the -40s in places like Wasagaming, Shoal Lake and Roblin, Grand Rapids, McCreary not far behind. Then there was early Sunday morning where once again Roblin bitterly cold, nearly -42 degrees, pretty easily setting a new record there. Shoal Lake, Carberry, Gimli also setting new minimum temperature records. Here in Winnipeg, we weren't even in the close but no cigar category, if you can believe it. We had to see temperatures, air temperatures drop into the -40s. Of course, I know a lot of folks noticed early Sunday morning when the temperature was -38 degrees in Winnipeg that the wind chill felt like -51. Much less cold air. I wouldn't say it's, well, milder is technically what it is, but this doesn't feel mild by any stretch, does it? But it's a lot less cold tonight. Now, temperatures may dip off a little bit. I showed you the long-range forecast. Gets a little bit colder, and there could be another Arctic high settling in midweek over Manitoba. So we could be in for colder weather once again. But for now, let's just take this break while we get it. Now, I say break. It's still quite cold out there. Spring has certainly not sprung. Northwestern Ontario still under a a yellow cold warning tonight. Why isn't it orange anymore, you ask? Well, according to Environment Canada, the confidence it has in its forecast is still high. The impact level it assesses, though, is now moderate. That's why it's yellow as opposed to orange, which was considered a high impact level. But I want to point this out. On the other side, we're bookended by cold warnings. Yellow cold warnings just over the border into Saskatchewan for Yorkton and Moosomin. These northwest winds that have been biting, I mentioned, that's a cold front passing through, but they're going to deliver some pretty cold feeling wind chill values and cold air temperatures to those areas tonight. But here's a look at what it feels like right now across our province here. The current wind chill value in Winnipeg makes it feel like -31. So as we move throughout the night, not a lot happening, but still, it's still going to be quite a cold night. In the overnight hours there, we will be dealing with a little bit of blowing snow, though, this evening and overnight across the south as that front continues to push through. Bright and sunny for much of the province throughout most of the day on Tuesday. Then we start to see perhaps that Arctic high start to descend by midweek back down into Manitoba. Some light snow popping up there for parts of the north. Quickly, -22 degrees our overnight low tonight with light snow and blowing snow. Sunny tomorrow morning, -21 up to -18 in the afternoon. Winds out of the west. Quick swing around the province taking us up into the northeast. Light snow around the region. Overnight lows in the -20s. Thompson tomorrow high of -20 under a mix of sun and cloud. In the northwest tonight, light flurries or light snow. Overnight lows around -25, -26. Mix of sun and cloud for most areas. Highs in the low -20s. In the southwest tonight, cloudy there. Brandon down to -25. Dauphin -28, so still quite cold. Sunny around the region tomorrow. Highs in the -19, -20 degree range with some stronger winds. And in Winnipeg in the southeast tonight, light snow and flurries blowing around. Overnight lows -22, -23. Highs tomorrow sunny, -17, -18. And in northwestern Ontario, light snow and flurries there tonight. Temperatures in the mid-20s, and then a few flurries tomorrow for Kenora. You'll get brighter skies in Dauphin and Dryden, pardon me, not Dauphin, Dryden and Fort Francis with a few flurries too. Our first weather photo takes us out near Brunkfield. That beautiful big sundog there. That photo is from Marineland. Looks cold, but it also looks beautiful too. Speaking of which, Dennis took this photo from his balcony here in Winnipeg when it was -38 degrees with that -51 feeling wind chill yesterday morning. Send us your photos to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. If you invest, you need to do your due diligence or speak with a financial advisor to make sure your finances are in good hands. Criminals are now creating fake websites and forums, and they're using the logos of reputable companies for something called pump and dump fraud. Pat Foran explains.
So when you moved your money into Wealthsimple, how quickly did this ad pop up on Instagram?
Almost immediately after.
Israel Clyde of Richmond Hill had his investments with a major Canadian bank, but recently, due to a promotion, he decided to move his funds to Wealthsimple. The transfer went smoothly. After he made the switch, he was on Instagram when he saw a Wealthsimple offer to take part in an online trading platform on how to make money in the stock market.
Those ads had the Wealthsimple name and the logo. It looked legitimate from Wealthsimple.
Clyde says the trading group suggested he buy a stock. He did, and within days, he doubled his money.
I sold the stock, but actually made $14,000 on this transaction. So I was like, oh, wow.
Clyde felt the advice must be trustworthy, so he made a much larger investment. But this time, things went bad fast.
As soon as I bought it that day, 5 minutes later, the stock tanked. It went from $1.68 US to 10 cents at the time, and I just panicked.
He was caught in a pump and dump scam and lost $260,000. When he tried to contact the forum again, it was shut down.
Tried to get into the group chat. Everything was gone. Like the phone numbers looked like they just were erased.
Wealthsimple told CTV News. Wealthsimple reported more than 10,000 fraudulent ads to Meta, and we're only one of many financial institutions fighting this issue. Wealthsimple will never recommend specific stocks or securities to buy. To avoid pump and dump scams, don't listen to social media investment tips or hype through online forums. Be concerned if there is limited company information, promises of guaranteed returns, or unusual trading spikes or dips. Losing $260,000 means he now has to rethink his retirement plans.
For 2 weeks, I wasn't able to sleep. It was very upsetting, very upsetting.
Pat Foran, CTV News.
Put in some brakes if you're shoveling. Ask for some help.
As the mercury falls, the risk of heart attack goes up. We're going to explain why and share 3 of the most common symptoms to keep an eye out for. Medical Watch is next. As grocery prices continue to squeeze household budgets, many tonight are asking if the Prime Minister's new groceries and essentials benefit will actually make a difference at the checkout. And joining us now to weigh in on that debate tonight is Suyik Au, an associate professor of accounting and finance at the U of M. Suyik, good to speak with you.
Great to hear from you.
First, maybe can you give us an idea of what targeted rebates like this can and cannot do when it comes to affordability?
So the nice part about this is going to really help low and low middle to income families afford groceries and other necessities over the next couple of years. So we're looking at around $500 the first year and half that for each year for the next few years after that.
How far is this added money likely to go?
Well, like $500 is a lot of money of grocery money. So I don't know what your grocery bill is like, but mine is, expensive and getting more expensive. So you probably buy, a couple of weeks worth of groceries for a large family, or maybe up to a month for someone who's really willing to cut back. So it could go quite a distance to be able to help low to middle income families.
Eligibility is a question up in the air tonight. We know how the GST rebate typically works. So there's a large portion who is likely still struggling with affordability that won't see any benefits from this.
Yes, that's definitely an issue. So one of my colleagues across the hallway, he's the main provider of the family. His wife is on disability, and he's just outside the edge of eligibility, around $67,000 where the eligibility cutoff is. And so he's not going to see any of this benefit, even though he direly needs help. He's got 2 kids and a disabled wife, and it's hard to be able to make ends meet. And so there's definitely an issue where there's going to be people in the middle class or that are also suffering as well that aren't going to get a benefit.
What does this all mean for, the broader picture of the cost of living?
So the nice part is this is going to help low to middle income families. The not so nice part is that any kind of fiscal expansion or fiscal spending, or a fancy way of saying it is basically government spending, is inflationary. So more money for low to middle income families is good. Now they can afford groceries and other necessities, but it's bad in the fact that it's going to drive up the prices of those necessities.
Lots of uncertainty, too, as far as trade and tariffs go with the U.S. Suyik, I want to thank you for your insight into this tonight. It was great speaking with you.
Thank you.
A recall of some Pizza Pop products has been expanded. The CFIA says the products include 3 cheese, pepperoni, pepperoni and bacon, deluxe, and 3 meat varieties. This is because of possible E. coli contamination. The initial recall notice was posted on December 21st. A complete list of affected products is available on the agency's website. As of last month, 23 illnesses had been reported across 7 provinces, including 2 here in Manitoba. Frigid temperatures can affect your body in many ways, but it can be especially hard on your heart, which is why experts say you should avoid exerting yourself in cold weather, especially if you have medical conditions like heart disease or high blood pressure.
This is why we tend to see a number of heart attacks or cardiac consequences when people are shoveling snow or doing a lot of heavy effort, high intense work in cold weather or snowy conditions.
Dr. Tamana Singh with Cleveland Clinic says in the cold, our bodies are working to maintain core temperature, straining the heart. As blood vessels constrict, blood pressure and heart rate both rise. For those who already have heart problems, it can be dangerous.
Put in some brakes if you're shoveling. Ask for some help. If there's a better time of day to do some of that shoveling, like under the heat of the sun, I would certainly advocate for that.
Red flag symptoms to watch out for include chest pain or discomfort, jaw pain or tightness, and general unease. Singh says if something feels off, get inside and call 911. Waking up at night to use the washroom is common, but doing so too often can disrupt sleep and may be a sign of an underlying health issue. One surgeon at University Health Network tells CTV News it's normal to wake up to urinate once in a while, but 2 or more times in one night would be considered abnormal. As people age, the kidneys may become less efficient at concentrating urine, leading to increased production at nighttime. Other possible causes include sleep apnea, diabetes, fluid retention, and heart and lung conditions. In men, an enlarged prostate can prevent the bladder from emptying fully, leading to more nighttime urges. If the issue is persistent or gets worse, you should speak with your doctor.
Medical Watch is brought to you by Manuka and Koster Denture Clinic.
Stepping into the fray when the rock band will be performing right here in Winnipeg. Spotlight is next.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting the incredibly hip and the Stoneheads.
An American rock band is hitting the road this spring and will be making a stop here in Winnipeg. The Fray is bringing its Summer of Light tour to Centennial Concert Hall on May 19th. It's in support of the band's new album, A Light That Waits, its first full-length release in more than a decade. Canadian rockers, the Strumbellas, will open the show. Tickets go on sale this Friday at 10 a.m. through the Concert Hall's box office. The Winnipeg New Music Festival will present a trio of premieres as it continues tomorrow evening. Beyond Horizons returns to the festival at Centennial Concert Hall with a series of works meant to raise spirits and evoke hope. It includes the Canadian premieres of A Hidden Sun Rises and 1,000 Cranes. The WSO's commission, Centuries of Hope, Variations in Theme, will also make its world premiere.
It's a great honor. I'm very excited. Just heard a rehearsal this morning of my piece, and just sounding fantastic. There's such a great group of musicians. The amount of amazingly hard music that they learn in a short time is truly inspiring, and I'm just honored to be among the composers featured.
WNMF Beyond Horizons takes place Tuesday at 7 p.m. The festival wraps up on Thursday. Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson's dystopic thriller Mercy has finally unseated Avatar: Fire and Ash as the king of the box office after Avatar's hugely successful 5-week reign.
Detective Raven, I know precisely who you are. You're before this court today charged with the murder of your wife.
Mercy brought in $11.2 million U.S. and $22.8 million globally for its debut. Pratt plays a detective in the near future who was standing trial before an AI judge. The third Avatar film fell to second place with an additional $7 million. Rounding out the top three was Zootopia 2 with $5.7 million. Ye, formerly known as Kanye West, is apologizing for his anti-Semitic remarks and other behavior in recent years. The rapper bought a full page in the Wall Street Journal to publish a letter titled "To Those I've Hurt." Ye has bipolar disorder that he blames on brain damage from a car crash 25 years ago. He wrote in the letter that he, quote, lost touch with reality and said and did things that he deeply regrets. In the past few years, he angered legions of people by saying slavery was a choice, denying the Holocaust, and releasing a song titled "Hail Hitler," among other incidents. He said he's now got an effective regime of medication, therapy, exercise, and clean living. According to Spotify, Ye has a new album titled Bully, set to drop at the end of the month. Your Monday primetime lineup starts with Extracted at 7, following at 8, Memory of a Killer. Nathan Fillion stars as the Rookie at 9, and St. Denis Medical wraps things up at 10. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
These aren't hockey pucks flying through the air. Why potatoes were being tossed around and what it's supporting.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon.
Minus 18 degrees in Winnipeg right now with some drifting snow and those strong and gusty northwest winds. That's a cold front passing through. Highest temperature today was minus 16. That's still above or below normal. Minus 12 degrees last year, well above normal. Minus 3.1. Tonight we drop down to minus 21 degrees with that blowing snow. Sunshine for much of the week. Temperatures in the upper minus teens through most of it. Then we get to the weekend. Saturday flurries possible. Minus 11 up to minus 7 merrily on Sunday.
Looks great. Thanks, Colleen. The Dauphin Kings celebrated the spirit of Ukraine over the weekend in a very special way. After all, you can't make pierogies without spuds. This could very well be the first ever potato toss at a hockey game. The goal was to get the taters in that big old pot you see there at center ice. Now, if you're wondering why those potatoes are so bouncy, well, they're actually tennis balls just dyed brown to look like potatoes. The fun and games were all part of Ukrainian Heritage Night at the rink, which also featured, check those jerseys out, some pretty cool Ukrainian-looking jerseys.
They're great. Look at that.
Yeah, sharp. All right, this weather getting a little better each day.
Trying. Still stay warm.
Yes.
Like I say, spring has not sprung, but no cold warnings are in effect.
We'll take any progress we can get at this point. All right, good night.